Shocking news last week when Obama's chef was found dead. We're going to break down everything we know so far and ask the question, was he murdered? You know that on this channel, we look at just the facts. But this is a developing news story, so be prepared that a lot can change as more information is released. The Obama's personal chef, Tafari Campbell, was found dead Sunday, June 23rd, near the Obama's residence. Tafari originally worked in the Bush White House, but then cooked for President Obama. The Obamas kept Tafari on as their personal chef after they left the White House. Let me start by giving condolences to his family. Tafari was 45 years old and left behind a wife and two 19-year-old twin boys. It is heartbreaking for a young family to lose their father, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. Why am I even talking about this story? Michelle Obama is one of the frontrunners for the Democrat nominee for president in 2024. If dead bodies are showing up at her house, I think we need to figure out what is going on. Our current president, Joe Biden, is constantly in trouble as new evidence keeps surfacing of foreign influence peddling. We are in our current situation because nobody asked enough questions during the last election. Why did no one in the media ask any questions? There are some curious things about Tafari's death that still need to be explained. Let us start with the official narrative from the police. This is what they say happened. There was a witness on the scene who said they saw Tafari paddleboarding. Tafari lost his balance, fell, and drowned. The witness, who was also paddleboarding, said they swam out to try and save Tafari, but did not reach him in time. The witness swam to shore and told someone to call 911. The 911 call was placed at 7:46 p.m. on Sunday, saying that Tafari Campbell had drowned. At 10 a.m. on Monday, 14 hours later, the police found the body in 8 feet of water. The police claim they saw no visible external injuries on Tafari's body. The police have stated that there is nothing suspicious about this death. It is not a murder, nothing to see here. I am very skeptical of this explanation because there is a lot that does not make sense. I think it sounds very suspicious, and I'm going to break down the reasons why. If this death were a murder, here's how you would solve it. You would lay out all the pieces of evidence, and then you would see if it leads to any conclusion. Do any of you ever watch detective shows? I remember I used to watch a show growing up called Perry Mason. That guy always solved the craziest cases, and he would do it by finding evidence that the police missed. I hope there are some internet sleuths out there that are paying attention and can help figure this out. Let's start with the police. This situation does not deal with the normal police that you and I are used to. The Obamas live on Martha's Vineyard, which is an island off the coast of Massachusetts. But they do not live just anywhere on the island. They live in a town on the island called Edgartown, which is where the rich people live. It's very exclusive. And Edgartown has their own police force. Here's a job posting for an entry-level police officer. The starting salary is $82,000 per year. That's enormous. That means that detectives are probably making $200,000 per year. When you are making that much money as a police officer, your job is not really to solve the murder. Your job is to protect the rich people who live in your community. I am betting that if a police officer looks the other way on evidence in order to protect the former president, that's probably how they get a promotion. Now, I'm not accusing these cops of doing anything shady, but I think it is fair to say they are incentivized to protect the rich people because they don't want to lose their job and have to work somewhere else at a fraction of the pay. So when I hear the police issue these statements, I listen to them with some skepticism. And this is not the first time we have heard some sketchy claims from police. Do you remember when Jeffrey Epstein died? The police claimed it was a suicide. However, I would say that most people think that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. What makes this suicide claim so ridiculous is that Dr. Michael Baden came forward with a statement. This is one of the doctors who was in the room during the autopsy. He explained that Jeffrey Epstein had 3 fractured bones in his neck. That does not happen to people who commit suicide. If you hang yourself, you might have 1 broken bone. 2 bones is very unusual, and 3 bones is unheard of. So Dr. Baden claims the evidence suggests that someone strangled Jeffrey Epstein, not that he committed suicide. The only way you would get 3 bones to break is if someone was yanking and pulling on your neck as they strangle you. So people say that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Well, I would argue that Tafari Campbell did not have an accident. Let's look and see what other things do not make sense. Who paddleboards at night? This is the strangest thing about this whole story. Who goes paddleboarding at night? If we look at the timeline, we know the 911 call took place at 7:46 p.m. Let's just assume it took 15 minutes to get to the phone, so the death occurred sometime around 7:30 p.m. That's nighttime. What were they doing on the lake? What is also strange is that these paddleboards come with a safety strap that you attach to your ankle. The safety strap is in case you fall off, so the paddleboard doesn't get away from you. So we are supposed to believe that Tafari not only decided to go paddleboarding at night, but that he chose to not attach the safety strap. Why would he do that? If I were a cop and a witness told me this story, I would be a little suspicious that they were not being honest, because it does not make any sense. Where were the Secret Service? This was a massive police investigation on Barack Obama's property. How come we've heard nothing about the involvement of the Secret Service? Now, we don't know exactly how many agents are guarding Barack Obama's family, but given how we know the Secret Service operates, I'm guessing it's around 4 agents at all times. Where were they? Where is the security footage? 8 feet of water. The police claim the body was found in 8 feet of water. A lot of people have pointed out that this is confusing. The average depth of the lake is 3 to 4 feet deep. Now, I am sure that the depth changes and that some places are going to be deeper than others. But where is this location where it goes from 4 feet to 8 feet deep? And what is the likelihood that Tafari falls off his paddleboard at that one specific spot and that there's not some other shallow spot nearby that he can get to? To see how absurd this is, let's look at the map. Here is Martha's Vineyard. This is the bay where the Obamas live. And I'm not doxing him. This is all reported in the news. By the way, do not try to go to Obama's house. The last person who tried that was arrested by the Secret Service and went to prison. Anyway, the Obama's house is here, which is where Tafari was staying. After the drowning, a neighbor recovered the paddleboard. The neighbor lives here. Now, we don't know for sure exactly where the drowning took place, but I'm guessing it is in between somewhere over here. Now, the witness said Tafari was 100 feet from the shore. That is less than an Olympic-sized pool. Given the scale of this map, that would be about here. So Tafari drowned really close to shore. Now, the underwater depths around the coast of the US are very well mapped out. You can go online to usharbors.com and find maps showing the water depth. Here is Martha's Vineyard. You can see this whole area is 4 feet deep. So where is this 8-foot deep spot? You're telling me that when the whole lake is 4 feet deep and this alleged 8-foot deep section is right next to the shoreline? That makes no sense. If we look at the map, you can even see how shallow the water is here. We are looking at a photo taken from space, and I can see the bottom of the lake. That's how shallow it is. I don't think this water is 8 feet deep. I think the police is lying. Before I believe this story about 8-foot deep water, I need to see someone at the exact location with a measuring stick because this statement is so unbelievable. What is more likely is that the body was found in 4-foot deep water. Of course, the police would not want to reveal that because then the story does not make any sense. If Tafari fell off a paddleboard in 4-foot deep water, why couldn't he just stand up? Even if there was a section that was 8 feet deep, I doubt it would be that far away from another section that would be only 4 feet deep where he could just stand up. He would not have to swim all 100 feet to the shoreline to just stand up. How does someone drown in such a shallow lake? The witness statement said Tafari lost his balance, fell in the water, and drowned. That alone makes no sense. How many people fall off a paddleboard and drown? If that happened all the time, they would stop selling paddleboards. Why didn't he grab onto the paddleboard to keep himself afloat? The only explanation that I can think of would be is if he had a blood clot and died suddenly. That seems to be happening to a lot of people lately. But we know that a blood clot is not the reason because the autopsy would have shown that. The medical examiner has already said the initial autopsy determined he died from drowning, not a blood clot. The witness statement also said that Tafari was struggling to stay afloat, which would also contradict the cause of death being from a blood clot. Some people are saying that he was not a good swimmer, but here is a video showing him swimming in an Olympic-sized pool, so he definitely could have made it back to shallower water. It just seems so strange to claim that someone fell off a paddleboard in a shallow lake and just drowned. Since the witness's story does not make any sense, that means we should at least consider other alternatives. Was Tafari hit on the head? Did he get knocked out on shore and then get dumped in the water to drown? The idea that someone would spontaneously drown without something else prompting it seems pretty unlikely. Why did it take 14 hours to recover the body? This is also very strange. So according to the witness statement, they saw exactly where Tafari drowned. If they knew the exact location, why did it take 14 hours to find the body? You had at least 4 Secret Service agents on site who are probably trained as elite swimmers. Even if the water was 8 feet deep, it would not have been that difficult to find the body. These statements from the police and the witnesses contradict each other. Both statements cannot be true. You cannot say, this person died exactly here, and then I can't find the body for 14 hours. Someone is lying. Either the witness made up their story, or the police and the Secret Service are completely incompetent. Either way, we need an explanation. Tides would probably have impacted this area, but the difference between high and low tide is only 1.3 feet. The police found the body at low tide in the morning. It seems more likely they waited until they had light and then walked out in 4 feet of water at low tide and found the body easily. But then, what were they doing for 14 hours? Cleaning up the evidence? We need an explanation. Toxicology report. The police is currently running a toxicology report on the body, looking to see if Tafari had any drugs in his system. That's strange. It is my understanding that it is not normally done with drowning victims. So the police found the body, they determined Tafari drowned, and then they decided, let's check the body for drugs. Why would they do that? Did the witness somehow know that he was doing drugs? If he was doing drugs, why would he want to engage in strenuous exercise? That doesn't make any sense. Are they trying to blame his inability to swim on being wasted? If he was so wasted that he could not swim, how did he get 100 feet from the shore? I think the police may be trying to make the story about drugs to take attention away from all the other inconsistencies in the story, but I think it just raises more questions. The Obamas lied about their location. If you are investigating a possible murder and someone lies about where they were at the time of death, that's very suspicious. Well, that is exactly what the Obamas did. The Obamas' office first released a statement saying they were not at home at the time of the incident. Then the next day, they changed the statement to be that they were on the island, just not at their residence. So where were they? On the lake paddleboarding? The 911 call changed location. What is further confusing is the 911 call changed locations. Initially, the police reported the 911 call originated from the Obamas' house. Then, they later changed the location to a boat ramp 2 miles away. That is a big discrepancy. I'm going to play you the only recording we have. This is the conversation of the police officers responding to the scene.
Control to Edgartown Fire, Water Rescue Personnel. Echo 90 and Echo Unit. Respond to 7979 Turkey Land Cove for a 40-year-old male, possible drowning. Control to Edgartown Fire, Water Rescue Personnel. Echo 90 and Echo Unit. Respond to number 7979 Turkey Land Cove Road for a 40-year-old male, possible drowning. Units acknowledge.
I'm not going to repeat the address they said, but it was the address for Obama's house, located here. Here is the police activity log. You can see that Wilson's Landing is marked as the location of the call, which is a popular boat dock 2 miles away. So they responded to one location while recording that the 911 call came from someplace else. That makes no sense. What is even more strange is if you look at the police log sheet, the description of the 911 call is left blank. Why would they write a description for every other event during that day except for that one 911 call? This is all starting to seem a little suspicious. Who was the second paddleboarder? What is so puzzling is that the police will not reveal the identity of the witness on the second paddleboard or the person who called 911. What is so bizarre about this is the police is refusing to turn over any information on the case to the media, and they're giving the reason as the ongoing investigation. This contradicts their own statement that the death is not suspicious. Legally, they cannot hide the 911 call if there is nothing to investigate. They cannot both refuse to investigate and then refuse to turn over the 911 call or the identity of the witness. That is illegal. Someone needs to arrest the cops. Why are they keeping the 911 call a secret? Why are they keeping the recorded radio traffic a secret? Why are they hiding all of this information? The act of hiding everything makes it suspicious. If there was nothing suspicious as they claim, why not tell us who it was? Was it the Obamas? We do know that the person who made the 911 call was a woman. Some people think that means that Michelle Obama made the 911 call. I'm not convinced that is the case. I don't know if you've noticed, but Michelle Obama kind of has a manly voice. I'm not sure if she called 911, they would automatically assume it was a woman calling. I think it's more likely that one of her daughters called. Their voices definitely sound like women, and we do know that they were staying at the house during this time. It seems more and more likely that someone in the Obama family is involved somehow in this death, but the police will not say. Even if you think this is some big conspiracy theory and there is nothing suspicious about Tafari's death, you have to admit that the police are not telling us something. Why? Barack went golfing. In a bizarre series of events, Barack and Michelle Obama went to the golf club after Tafari's death. Tafari's body was recovered on Monday. They went to the golf club on Friday. Barack played a round of golf and Michelle played tennis. This comes across as pretty callous. Someone died at their house who they were personally close with. The evidence suggests they were somehow involved in some capacity during the incident. For them to say right afterwards, "Let's go play golf," that's a little strange. Now, of course, they don't have to stay in mourning forever, but 4 days does not seem long enough. Just speaking personally, I've been to funerals before, and there's a lot that goes into it. You don't have time to play golf. But that's not the only strange thing. People have been looking at these photos. It seems like Barack Obama has a black eye, a bruised knee, and his hand is bandaged. And if we look really closely, is that a bite mark on his right hand? For someone to have just died on Barack's property and Barack potentially showing signs of being in a struggle, that seems strange. Now, Twitter has been fact-checking these claims. Bring in the fact-checkers. They claim that Barack Obama was previously photographed in 2015 also playing golf with similar bandages on his hands. So they claim there is nothing suspicious about this. He just randomly plays golf with bandages on his hands. Although I'm not sure that one other occurrence really is proof of a habit, especially one as strange as this. Why would putting bandages on your hand help you play golf? I've never heard of this. Have you? Does it help him grip the golf club better? Isn't that what gloves are for? But if you look into the story from 2015, it gets even more strange. In the photos from 2015, Barack was golfing first on a Saturday and then again on a Monday. He was not wearing the bandages on Saturday, but he was on Monday. So he does not wear bandages every time. On Saturday, Barack was golfing with comedian Larry David. On Monday, he was golfing with the president of the World Bank. I think the police should start by questioning Larry David. He could be the key to this whole case. What did he see while they were golfing? What is the deal with the bandages? Does Barack wear bandages or not? Did they talk about the bandages? Where did he get the bandages? Why did they mysteriously appear 2 days later? And why would this have anything to do with him wearing bandages in 2023? If Barack needed the bandages to recover from a previous day of golfing in 2015, that wasn't the situation in 2023. There was no previous day. So what is the deal with the bandages? There certainly is a lot that doesn't add up. And besides the bandages, how did he get that black eye? I don't know about you, but I find it very unconvincing that Twitter is using this one day in 2015 to fact-check any questions about the bandages. Bill Clinton's chef also drowned. It is extremely unusual that Bill Clinton's personal chef also drowned under unusual circumstances. Drownings don't happen all that often, so for two personal chefs to both drown is statistically very strange. Ironically, Donald Trump's personal chef hasn't had this problem. Why is it that only Democrat chefs have been drowning? That is strange. Let's go back and look at the case of Bill Clinton's chef. His name was Walter Scheib. He died while hiking 10 miles outside of Taos, New Mexico. The cause of death was likely drowning. They probably could not determine for sure because his body had been outside for several days and probably had been eaten by wild animals. The area was known for rock slides and flash floods, so it was determined he got caught in an unexpected flood and drowned. The suspicious thing is that his body was only found 30 yards from his car. If he was caught in a flash flood, wouldn't his body have been washed downstream farther than 30 yards? Also, what kind of hike only goes 30 yards from his car? What is also suspicious about the death of these chefs is that there would be motive for murder. Personal chefs travel everywhere with the president, and they would know intimate details about their lives. If the president wanted to silence the chef about things they may have seen, that would provide motive for murder. Pizzagate. We have to mention Pizzagate, if only to separate the facts from the conspiracy theory. Pizzagate is a conspiracy theory that started at the end of Obama's presidency. The idea was that powerful politicians were trafficking children in Washington, D.C., and communicating using code words based on pizza toppings. Without getting into the details, it is a fact that a very strange email exists that was released by WikiLeaks. This is an internal email from a company called Stratfor, who were consultants for the White House. The president of the company says, "Get ready for Chicago Hot Dog Friday to celebrate all you hot dogs out there. Eric, you can participate as well." The email is responded to with, "I think Obama spent about $65,000 of taxpayers' money flying in pizza dogs from Chicago for a private party at the White House not long ago. Assuming we are using the same channels?" Now, this email does seem very creepy and weird. The craziest thing is that neither Stratfor or the Obamas have explained what this email is talking about. If nothing bad happened, why don't they just give an explanation? Their only response has been, "We don't know, it was nothing." Regardless, this is not enough evidence to know exactly what was going on with Pizzagate. But you know who would know? Tafari Campbell, who is now dead, which goes back to motive. Censorship. There has been a huge push by social media companies to silence anyone who points out any of the suspicious things about this case. People are smeared as conspiracy theorists, even if they're just asking questions. One person on Twitter, named Don Lucre, was providing a lot of updates when this story first broke. His entire account was banned from Twitter. Now his account has since been restored, but it makes you wonder, when the mainstream is trying so hard to hide any discussion relating to this one story, what are they trying to hide? So those are 12 reasons why this death is suspicious. Let's just recap and see if there is enough facts to suspect murder. We have the scene of the crime that was near Obama's house. Do the Obamas have an alibi for the time of death? Not that I've heard. Do the Obamas have a motive? If they wanted to keep Tafari from talking about something. Was there a murder weapon? No, but Obama's hands are all bandaged. Now, I'm not going to say whether Tafari Campbell was murdered or not, but I think it should be investigated. Given what we know, do you think the police is correct that there is nothing suspicious about this death worth investigating? Do you think it was an accident? The problem is that once the police labeled Tafari's death as not suspicious, there will be no investigation, just like in the case of Jeffrey Epstein. No one will ever look into what happened. My message to the mainstream media is, have some balls. Why is no one questioning the police statement about the death of Obama's chef? Ask some questions. The police are clearly not telling us everything. If this really was an accident, why would they hold anything back? Since when do we assume the police do everything right? They are clearly protecting someone, but it is certainly not the American people. If anyone knows what is wrong with journalists today, let me know in the comments because I would really like to know. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think happened to the Obama's chef? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I have some important videos coming up that you don't want to miss. Also, I have started a membership program. I am constantly struggling with shadow bans and demonetization on YouTube. If you like my videos and want to support the channel, consider signing up for a monthly membership. For $6 a month, your help makes it possible for me to continue making these videos. Go to wolvesandfinance.com to check it out and sign up today.